Welcome to Keep It Humane, the podcast, where we dive deep into topics surrounding kindness, compassion, and creating a more humane world, whether it's in our communities, in the workplace, or in the world of animal control and shelters. With our hosts,
Ashley Bishop.
And Ashley Bishop.
And I'm Daniel Ettinger. This show is sponsored by Tomahawk Live Trap. Check them out, livetrap.com.
Well, look at this. It's the original crew. It is the two. What would our nickname be if we had one? The fabulous twosome. No, that doesn't sound right. Anyway, it's just the OG Bishop and Daniel Ettinger, Texas Ashley Bishop. You know what? She picked up an extra duty shift today and she is working at the UPS facility there in Texas, getting all these packages ready for the Christmas rush. So she's busy doing all that.
Ho, ho, ho.
She said it. Bro, y'all are crazy. Hey, it's been a while since it's just been me and you, man.
It has been.
It's actually kind of fun. No disrespect. Like we love Texas Bishop. We did this for a while, me and you. It's just
Yeah,
me, you know?
couple, 2 years
hmm
ish.
Yeah. Yeah. And look at
Jesus, we've
us.
been doing this for how long now?
It's going on our sixth year. So as we wind down 2020, what is this, 25? We'll kind of take a break towards holiday season and just, let us be normal people with families. Because for those that don't know, we record every weekend, every single Sunday throughout the year. And so when we get closer to the holidays, we kind of take that break off, and then we'll come back for, I guess you would call it season six or year six, 6 years. We're over 290 episodes at this point, which it's not about the numbers. It's truly about the opportunity to reach people and talk about the great things that people are doing, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit on the show, and how we can help change the image of the dog catcher and the dog pound. Like that's to me, that's been my why. And I don't know what maybe yours or maybe you feel like sharing what yours has been over the time.
Mine's been connecting with others
Nice.
because I've made so many more connections because of this podcast and learned so many things that in my small town of what was one humane officer, like
Yeah.
I had no connections here to really talk to anybody or realize that the majority of everybody is dealing with the same stuff. So,
That's actually really valuable. And I think, yeah, like the more you think about it, the more connections that we've made over the course of this 6 years. And it's pretty cool when you can, meet up with somebody and they talk about either being a guest on the show or, they listened to an episode and they were really touched or felt that. So, man, to all of our listeners, all of our supporters, all of our guests, we really, really appreciate you. You know who else we appreciate?
Tomahawk Live Trap.
That's right, because they're celebrating their 100th year in business. They're a family owned and operated business who work with humane professionals around the world to produce the safest and most effective animal handling equipment available. You can save 10% on their products by using discount code Keep It Humane. That's right, Keep It Humane in all caps. No spacing. You can visit them online, livetrap.com, or call them 800 272 8727. 800 272 8727. I feel like when you do the phone number twice, it's like a real commercial. Um, yeah, Tomahawk's awesome. They do great things, so please check them out. Please check us out at keepithumane.com. I fail to mention that a lot on the podcast. Keepithumane.com. Check us out on all the socials. We have Keep It Humane everywhere. We have the Smart Shelter and Rescue private group as well. So check all that stuff out if you're interested. And speaking of those connections, I get a random LinkedIn message yesterday.
Oh,
It was cool. It was not a bad one. I was taken
you have to
back.
preface it with that.
Well, I was taken back by it. Like, yeah, oh yeah, I do have to preface it with that. Um, the message came from overseas. It came from the UK, and actually
Oh,
from speaking of one of our previous guests that we've had on, and they're like, "Hey, I see you're featured in the National Link Coalition newsletter," and I'm like, "What?"
what?
I was like, "What are you talking about featured? That's crazy. I don't know what. Like, I didn't even know I was in there, let alone featured." And they're like, yeah, I see that you're doing this class down in Texas. So the Texas Animal Control Association, TACA, as we refer to here on the show, they have their annual training in November down in Abilene. I love saying it like that. Abilene, Texas, down there in Abilene. And I'll tell you what, like TACA has been a staple as a leader in training in their state for, I was going to say centuries, but for decades, for real, for real. And I feel like I feel just so blessed and grateful that they allow me to teach at their annual training, and it's I mean, I never take it for granted, and I just those opportunities are they're just amazing, and the flexibility with the board and Jamie being the president and having those connections and good relationships there, it's great. But the class that I'm going to be teaching is about the link. So the link that most people recognize and understand is the link between domestic violence and animal abuse. Well, my theory is that some of the dog behavior and dog bites that we see is also from domestic violence and
Oh,
animal or
absolutely.
domestic violence. And so I've tried pushing the idea of the link being greater than just the link between domestic violence and animal abuse. I think the link is also domestic violence and dog behavior. And there's some data that I've absolutely compiled that support it, right? It shows where certain way dogs are housed or previous abuse uh, that has been recorded in the home on the dogs, and then the dog ends up biting, etc. Uh, those type of things. So all the factors from neglect to abuse uh, do contribute to the behavior of the dog, and I think we knew that. I think we just weren't thinking about it.
It's something that I have actually thought about because I can think of a couple of specific cases that when we ended up with dog bites, it always revolved around arguments or physical fights within the home and things like that. And I think it comes down to even the dog trying to protect one party or another in the home. Um,
Absolutely.
and so, yeah, I absolutely would agree with that.
So it was amazing to get this like ping because but man, shout out to Phil Arcal. And if you're not familiar, you can go to the website nationallinkcoalition.org, nationallinkcoalition.org. Phil has been working on this for, I was going to say centuries again. Sorry, Phil, decades, it seems. And it's just a great compilation of a lot of things that are going on throughout the country when it that has to do with the link. And so, man, that was a surprise and truly humbling moment to see that shout out, if you will, or that maybe attention to the TACA conference if people are interested in that class. It's a hard class as far as like talking about some of the things, especially some of the perpetrators who weaponize their dogs and they'll use them intentionally against their victims, etc. And there's some abuse that goes on there to make that happen. So yeah, that was a kind of a wow moment and just kind of reiterates what you said, those connections that we make. So just grateful for, man, I'm grateful for this platform. I'm grateful for our listeners and this is some good stuff. We often focus on some of the things that maybe are negative and sometimes that's due to the fact that that's just what people want to hear and that's just what drives listeners or drives, it's compelling in some aspects, but it's also important to talk about the positive things too.
Yes, it absolutely is. And we, unfortunately, negative publicity goes so much further than the positives. Um, unless you are in Eastpointe.
Eastpointe. That's Eastpointe, I think Michigan, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And
Um,
wait, just before we get started, we didn't choose this article because of her first name. However, it is fitting that her first name her first name is Ashley.
I didn't even get that far. I didn't realize that. Oh, good grief. Eastpointe Animal Control Officer is making a difference for pets and owners, according to the CBS News article from September 24th, 2025. About 11 miles northeast of Detroit in Macomb County is Eastpointe, Michigan. Spanning just 5 square miles, the city has some of the firmest animal ordinances in the state. Eastpointe's Animal Control Division is led by Officer Ashley Sanchez, who is determined to keep animals safe and their owners provided for. It can be a struggle having to make that decision. If you eat dinner or they eat dinner, nobody should have to make that decision, Sanchez says. The pet food pantry is a vital resource for Eastpointe and Warren residents. Finances are only increasing for pets, which means they're only increasing for their owners, Sanchez says. The four-legged Friends Pantry was one of Sanchez's personal goals when she started at Eastpointe Animal Control a little over a year ago. It's been nothing short of amazing what she's done and how she's transformed us from being basically a three-kennel garage to a full-service animal shelter, said
Wow.
Eastpointe Chief of Police Corey Haynes. Could you imagine?
No, I mean, yeah, yes, I could imagine seeing it, but working there, I don't know.
Yeah. A new feature added this month is microchip scanning station. At any time, somebody can pick up an animal, and if they don't have a collar or tag on, they don't know who the owner is. They're more than welcome to come here, Sanchez says. Her team had its first low-cost vaccine clinic this year with more than 200 residents lining up outside the shelter in their cars for the service. I don't know that she really goes home at night. I think she pretty much works 22 to 23 hours on a 24-hour day because she has that heart and that passion, Haynes said. Officer Sanchez secured grant funding for three free microchips, and she hopes to host a low-cost spay-neuter clinic in the near future. If we can help out with the resource, and even if we can't help you out, we're still willing to try and figure out somebody who can help you, Sanchez says. It's a commitment to the people and pets of Eastpointe.
I mean, just we need more of that. Round of applause to Ashley
Yeah.
Sanchez. Like,
And accomplishing that in a year,
I know, I
like
know, I know.
some people aren't even able to accomplish that in several years. So good on her. Also good on the community support, whether it be from the leaders and things, because I'm sure she would agree that she's got to have some sort of support.
Absolutely. And having, whether it's, under the police department, getting that support from them or however it's happening, man, just shout out to that community. Because
Yeah.
I don't know if you know anything about that area. I don't know much about East Point,
Mm.
Michigan, but when I look at it on the map, I understand that there is a big need for that. It's just north of Detroit. And I mean, everybody knows about Detroit, right? Like it's just Detroit. With all due
Right.
respect, like I'm not trying to bash it. Detroit's Detroit. Like we know that they have, you know, they have their issues in some respects with, just a lot of things. One of those things being winter, man. I can't even imagine being up there dealing with all that craziness with that snow they get off the lake, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But Ashley, like I'm sure, like she has no idea, and she may never hear this episode, but she's doing what she should be doing in that role, and that's the thing. It takes me back to what animal control's role is, right? There's a piece that we both can agree on, which is education, and providing resources to the community. That's a big piece, and her being able to accomplish that is outstanding.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe if she happens to listen to this, we can get her on and find out, how she was able to do all of this and some of her support. And if she's got tips and tricks for anybody else that's out there that, wants to do something similar.
Absolutely. And I think it's that dedication that she has as she's committed to this job. And you find that like there's people that do this job because it's a job and that's okay. Like there's nothing wrong with that. Right. But then there are people that are extremely passionate about the job and do this job because it's their life's work. I use that phrase all the time. It's my life's work. And when you can see the difference, like still
Hmm.
people that may not be as passionate still can do a great job. But when it's your actual life's work, when it's something that you're, kind of destined to do in that aspect, man, it hits different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So
And
good.
you used to do some stuff like this back when you were doing AC work. Like
Yep.
um didn't you have was it the chip clinic that you did?
So it was meant to be more of a licensing clinic, but we offered free rabies vaccines and $10 microchips.
Mm, okay.
Um, so that was I called it Pause and Protect. Um, and the microchip, we did it as low cost as possible. Worked with one of the microchip companies to get them at a low cost, and the local distributor for the vaccines and stuff would do a donation for us. So yeah, we were getting about 200 people, give or take, every time.
And to me, that's the balance that we need in this profession is we can still be enforcement, right?
Hmm.
We can still go out there and investigate crimes against animals, but we still have to find that balance of like, okay, now we have that, so now we have to find ways to this always came up when I talked about having mandatory spay and neuter laws in your community because
Hmm.
it's something that we had when I worked for the city and county of Denver, and I think it's a great ordinance personally and professionally, but the pushback that I would get from some of the people in the industry was it was how did they say it like it was more of like a punishment for not being able to uh maybe afford those services, and I do get where they're coming from. I do totally understand that perspective where it's like, well, you're punishing somebody for not being able to afford it. The way that we used to do it and the way that I went about it was, man, so you couldn't like as a city agency you can't like endorse somebody as a vet clinic. But what we did is we we put together this, it was like a 6-page sheet in the surrounding area, like of all the veterinary clinics broken down by location. And then on that packet, there was a piece for like low cost spay and neuter, So there was a section for that as well. And so you'd always hand that out if you had to give a ticket for somebody not being in compliance with the spay and neuter ordinance. And then you'd give them some grace period. You'd say like, look, here's the ticket. You have whether it was 60 days, I think it was 30 days to have an appointment at least booked for the services, then the ticket would get rescinded. And I think that's why you do it. It creates this incentive to get it done. Otherwise, look, I'll be honest, like this is human nature. This is human nature, and sometimes we forget about it. But people will take your kindness for weakness
Yeah.
if it's not backed up by something.
Do you think you saw fewer animals coming in as strays in that community?
It's a wonderful question. No, probably not, honestly. We'd have to really look at the data. That would be a cool study. We'd have to look at that data to really know. Hmm. We also, in addition to that, we did what was called a Pets for Life program, which allowed for us to like kind of give out financial support in certain circumstances. That was pretty cool. I think that combination, and then we had I'm trying to remember the name because it had its own name. It was like uh, something to do with TNR, with cats out in the community, and that program absolutely helped keep cats out of the shelter. Um, yeah.
And if anybody is listening and is like, oh, hey, like some of these sound like great ideas and stuff. So the ASPCA helps with getting programs started in communities for keeping pets at home. So they may whether it be with financial assistance to, get medical needs met and things like that, or if it's just providing toys and food and things like that. If you work for a shelter, or you may be able to even do this out of, the back of your ACO vehicle, um, you can contact somebody like the ASPCA, look for your state representative for World Humane, um, and see if they've got help that they can offer you. I feel like a lot of people, and I say this because I was one of them.
Yeah.
No organization is too small to be asking for help. And so if you don't ask, you can't get it.
Yeah.
So just reach out to some of those bigger organizations and see if you can get any help if it's something that you think your community needs.
And it can start with you. And I'll give an example. And I've talked about it on the program before where, I mean, you want to do it within the confines of like your policy and make sure that your management's on board. But I went in to the Purina dog food
Mm-hmm.
plant in Denver. I just walked in and I was like, we were, it was between calls. We didn't have anything pending in the queue. So I was like, shoot, I got some free time. Like maybe I can make connections here. And I walked in and I just said, look, here's my idea. Like I want to be able to pass out treats to responsible pet owners. And we struck up a deal with them and they were donating for several years. And then on top of that, they started to donate food to the shelter as well. So then that cut back on our general operation costs, right? Like all of that stuff can come from somebody just try, like just put it out there, just try. And I think what Ashley's doing there in Eastpointe, Michigan, is a great example of that. And I'm so glad we can highlight things like this. Like this is to me what the show kind of the ethos of the show is like to really give back and show the community and show people that aren't in this industry that like we are not just the dog catchers. We're not
We
just
are
the
not.
dog catchers.
Yeah. There's so much more of a dynamic to us and the profession.
Hmm. And we need more of that as we continue to move forward with just time, if that's the best way to say it. Like we need more of just buying into um, trying to help be part of these communities. The more you're
You
part of
mean
your community. Yeah.
you mean help people help animals?
Oh, look at you. With that said, so that's going to be our show for now. Yeah, I stole that phrase. I sent that to you guys recently.
Yes.
But I didn't realize I stole that. Let me shout out Greenville, South Carolina Animal Shelter, uh, municipal shelter, super cool place in Greenville. And I'm pretty sure their sign says helping people help animals.
Yes.
And I didn't realize that I somehow stole that and just made it help people help animals. And it doesn't matter. It's not really stealing. It's just continuing to spread the message as we try to help people help animals. That's what we're all trying to do.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, that look, short and sweet episode. Uh, really appreciate our listeners. Did you have anything else?
I don't think so.
No, no. Well,
Kind of same old around here.
yeah, I can appreciate that. Absolutely. Well, uh, yeah, definitely check out our website. That's keepithumane.com. You can go and Google Ashley Sanchez animal control and find the article if you're interested in reading it. It was CBS in that area in Michigan, and we can put a link too in the show notes. Check out our Instagram, Facebook, all those fun pages. Also check out the National Link Coalition since we brought that up
Hmm.
too.
I, you know what? I do want to put a plug in for them because if you sign up for their newsletter, I always sent that to our social workers and
Mm,
our domestic violence team at the police department and things like that because it's all linked. Uh, Go figure. But, it pertains to more than just animal control.
Yeah,
So,
it really does. It really does. There's some great stuff in there. So, tons of resources out there. Please reach out to the show if you have questions. And yeah, we hope to hear from you soon.
mhm.
Okay. Well, thanks for listening, and let's continue to
Help people.
help animals. Keep it humane.